Salam sejahtera dan selamat pagi. Selamat datang ke Sepang. Oh, wrong language. Hello everyone. It's a nice weather here in Sepang International Circuit. Good morning everyone here from Sepang, Selangor, Malaysia. It's round 7 of Formula Hololive International. We're here to race here in Sepang for the Malaysia Grand Prix. With that being said, let's take a deep look into how the track looks. Oh, this is a track that is familiar for all of these racing fans. 5.54 kilometers, 15 corners, designed by Herman Tilke, his first full design. 56 laps of racing is due here in this track because this is a Grand Prix, and of course this is the first Formula Hololive race that we've been seeing since like the Indonesia Grand Prix at Sentul. It's nice to see Formula Hololive International back in action, and what a way to conclude the 2024 season for the ARO than to have a race here in Sepang. But anyway, the race was supposed to move forward to Thursday night. Well, Thursday night if you're in the Americas. It's Friday morning here, so as to not clash with CF 2024 coming Fiesta 2024, as of course I will be heading to CF 2024 for the event. And also Friday night for my time is also not possible due to game obligations. It's the final Formula Hololive race for talents Sarasvana and Watson Amelia, unfortunately, due to the fact that we have essentially adjusted regulations, especially the end of streaming protocol for Hololive talents. And it's also the final Formula Hololive race for driver Juan Castanto, as he's handed in a request to lead the series due to lack of interest. And he will be replaced by a new driver coming up. We will announce it in due course. That being said, let's move over into the championship order. After Indonesia, the championship battle is very tight at the top, but only for the two drivers, Ryan Kagawa and Javier Lusby, for the Indonesia Ravencroft and Vesta Zeta members. Thomas Ferreira, after he grabbed a very decent result back in Indonesia, he is up in 3rd place. Rafael de Oliveira also having an amazing run here in Formula Hololive, as he's now up in 4th. Juan Castanto trying to end his time in the ARO on a high, as he currently sits 5th in the standings. He will be replaced by another driver in the coming weeks. And then we have Kamene Reba. Of course, he's now replaced by Enzio Ferrari, Hansi Yazid, Louis Boschwa, Mohamed Shagan Reza, and Dak Patterson, who is currently about to race his final race for Sarasvana, and he's currently in 10th place. Liam Kai's in 11th with Yoshi Tayo 12th. Joshua Azuri 13th, and Hanari Miyuki are tied for 13th place. But to break the tie, actually, it's actually Hanari Miyuki who actually has broken the tie to her win in Yongnam. Tori Recommendez 15th, Aziz Watson, the defending champion, is in 16th. Kyuta Asano with his win elevated himself into 17th. Evelyn Kuromi 18th for Elizabeth Rose spot claim. Now Santiago also set to have his final race in aero competitions, as his future is not secure. He sits in 19th alongside Watson Amelia, who will also have the car retired here in Sepang. Amel Ashore 20th for Kyla Kowalska, with Ethan Brotherson, Takeda Adachi, Sven Jensen, Edgel Sims, Niji Michan, Great Power, Don Aries, and Dan Evans being in the top 8, well, bottom 8 of the standings, so they will have to go to pre-qualifying, which will be coming up soon. And with that being said, I would like to introduce you to the booth, and actually we have someone very, very interesting here. If you follow virtual YouTuber racing, they should know this guy. I'm Molosha Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is the VTRP owner and Sarasvana driver in the ARO, Dak Patterson. So Dak, nice to have you finally here in ARO, in the ARO commentary booth. As we're about to start the commentary here in Sepang for pre-qualifying, what are your thoughts?
Well, thanks for having me here. I finally get to commentate on an ARO race the first time. I was supposed to do so for a qualifying session weeks ago, but connection issues were a problem. So this is my good opportunity to check out the race. I think the action is going to be quite close, quite challenging, and I'm curious to see how they'll handle the Sepang circuit and its 15 turns.
Just wanted to point out a few things here, as we are currently having a bit of a problem of sorts. It looks to me that yeah, Content Manager just crashed for no explicable reason, and I am trying to essentially close it and turn it back on. But I would like to
Ooh.
introduce to you everyone once again of the lineup for pre-qualifying. So it's going to be Ethan Bertelsen, Takeda Adachi, Sven Jensen, Angela Sims, Nichi Michan, Gray Prower, and then the two Indonesia class drivers of Don Elise and Dan Evans. Of course, they represent Nananashi Mume, Ninamai Inanes, Iris, and then we have Anya Milfisa, and then we have Mokoko Bisgar, Gao Gura, Reggie Oli, and Irani Yo 15. And with that being said, it's going to be interesting to actually look into how they are actually this down in the standings, especially for Takeda Adachi, who have won a race actually last time out in last season, where he won at Mandalika, the second race at Mandalika. As well, anyways, we got cars are now finally out on track. The first car I am noticing here is actually that looks to me Takeda Adachi, who's going to try to have his first laps.
He is gonna make his way out. The start finishes on the intersection of the track.
So just a bit of a preview here in Sepang, as we're about to get into that later, as we are going to get into an onboard lap. Takeda Adachi is currently not in form right now. If you look at his average finishes throughout the season, you could argue that his average finishes are actually languishing at around 16. So Takeda Adachi really needs to have an uptick in form coming into the second half of the season, as he's now currently coming into turn 7 and 8. Another driver that we want to take attention here is Sven Jensen. Very, very dedicated to Iris. He has won a non-points paying race in the Breaking Dimensions Grand Prix at Fuji Split B, where he actually beat the other JP class and EN and ID class cars to have an overall win. However, it didn't count for anything in terms of points, as essentially these drivers are going to the EN and ID class drivers don't essentially score points on that round.
Yeah, basically, yeah, go ahead.
So we're looking into some drivers who are going to complete their laps. Dan Evans in the Irene 15, also not having a very good amount of form. He essentially crashed out at Suntal at the start of the race, literally at the start of the race. He has his best finish of essentially 15th, ironically. And he is going to essentially come to the final corner to start a lap, so we are going to go on board. So, starting off the lap here in Sepang, in broad sunlight, as it's essentially morning here, you have to essentially get a very good exit on the final corner to make it this 1 kilometer long main straight, right at around the lights here. As you're coming into turn 1, man, actually, Dan Evans actually went wide here into the first 2 corners. You see here, second gear in the first corner, and then first gear in the second, flat out in the third, and you're now coming into turn 4, which there will be the first sector timing beam, which he will set at 27.348. He needs to get into the top 5 of the pre-qualifying drivers. As you can see here, he tries to hook up his car very well here. 4th gear throughout, 220 kilometers per hour on turn 5. And then take a slight jab on the brakes into turn 7 and 8. You see here how much he's actually closing into Sven Jensen. So you have to argue that Evans actually the faster car out there. And you can see here coming into the tight turn 9, slowest corner in the circuit by far. And into turn 10, where you will see the second 2 timing, 104.297, and oh dear, Dan Evans is actually getting closer and closer to Sven Jensen. That's not going to look good for Dan Evans this time. He's going to get held up.
A real cat versus mouse chase.
Yeah, and you see here, Dan Evans actually lost a lot of time in turn 14, as he's now coming into the main straight. A good exit from turn 14 is crucial if you want to make up a lot of time on this backstretch. And he is currently being blocked by Sven Jensen. Sven Jensen has a serious chance of him not qualifying for, well, not exactly qualifying for the main race here in the Malaysia Grand Prix, as Sven Jensen is only able to set a 1:49.727.
Ooh, that's a last part of the lap not so hot.
Yeah, that will actually not affect Dan Evans a lot, but he is the fastest driver in this session by far. If he's not blocked by Sven Jensen, Dawn Elise, on the other hand, will have to try her luck. She actually bumps Adachi down into 4th place. Great Prower on his second start for Gura is going to try to leave a mark for real in aero competitions after he essentially crashed out on the opening lap at the Indonesia Grand Prix last time out, as he's now only coming into a 1:46.825. He is going to be in a relatively comfortable position to essentially qualify for the main race.
Yeah, only top 5 of the 8 qualify. Just 6 cars left to time in, and
that leaves Dawn Elise, Takeda Adachi, and Sven Jensen. Sven Jensen, we are gonna see if he's going to make it to the race. We're gonna see if Takeda Adachi is going to make it to the race. Takeda Adachi will be the first driver on the cut line to try to make himself into the Malaysia Grand Prix, and right now the timing is not good enough for Takeda Adachi, as he has failed to qualify for the main race. He will be credited with a 26th place finish. Meanwhile, there's Sven Jensen, the next driver to cross the line. He hasn't been good in qualifying. Then Evans finally sets the fastest time in pre-qualifying. Sven Jensen also doesn't make the cut.
no hope there.
Very much a shame there for Jensen, as Dawn Elise is about to cross the line herself, but she has said enough is enough. So we have our confirmed 3 DNQs in this race. Well, for the main race, that is. Adachi will be credited with a 26th place finish, at least 27, and Sven Jensen last.
Oh, that is unlucky. Just couldn't find any hope to get through those turns, and may have been blocked by others trying to score times.
Yeah, so we are going to essentially highlight the drivers who will be finishing 28th, 27th, and 26th. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of hope, at least for this round, for Sven Jensen, as he will continue to tumble down the order. He will be credited with a last place finish for the Malaysia Grand Prix, and then we have Dawn Elise in 27th. And for Kreiji Oli, and Takeda Adachi will also not make the cut. And you want to know how close it was only by 0.4 of a second, the cut line between Nishimicha and Takeda Adachi. So these are the 3 drivers who will not qualify. Nishimicha for the Mokoko car, and then there's Great Power for Gura, Ethan Burleson for Nanashi Mume, Angela Sims for Aina Mafisa, and Dan Evans for Irony 15. They will have a second chance, as they are the ones who will make it into the main race.
Yeah, of course, the only one not in myth to make the feature race.
Well,
and also Promises is broken, with Iris also not getting in.
And just wanted to get a bit of a confirmation about the situation. And also Dawn Elise, the only ID class car to also not make it into the main qualifying session. So we have had the pre-qualifying session essentially dealt with. Now we have the 25 remaining drivers to take part in the main qualifying session. So there will be 10 minutes of it to happen, and then actually just wanted to check that the lap race duration is a bit wrong, so we're gonna have to restart the race weekend loading. But yeah, so 2 members in the EN class, 1 member in the ID class has failed to make the cut once again. Well, failed to make a cut for this specific pre-qualifying session. So we have 25 cars remaining, and of course the top 20 will join the 5 drivers who have essentially qualified into the proper qualifying session. So with that being said, Dag, given the current championship standings, who do you fancy to try to get themselves into pole position?
I think Nuris is looking good, and I also got my money. I think on Fuawa. I think Mokoko was able to qualify, so that should give the Fuawa driver Javier Lusby a bit of a boost with both drivers in, and got my eye on Kagawa and actually not to Lusby that's driving the Fuawa car. That's the Zeta car for Lusby. It's Ferreira and Kagawa.
So you're going for the favorites that will try to essentially get into pole position. So let's move on into some of the other drivers who are currently running in this main qualifying session. Aziz Muasif, as we've mentioned multiple times over, if you look at the stats for the 2023-24 season, Aziz Muasif, of course, being the 2023-24 champion from the third race of the season until essentially the what do we call the ninth race of the season, or rather the 8th race of the season, he actually has scored essentially, what do we call it, only top 10 finishes, well, top 4 finishes, since we're not counting the capture the moment Grand Prix weekends. He got 3rd in Mandalika races, and then top 4 in Sepang races, and then Bororam again, and then the Red Bull Ring where he capped it off with a win over there. And that's only because he capitalized on other drivers' misfortunes. So Aziz Muasif is a guy that is a top 5 quality driver, but in terms of bringing his car to race wins, he is not actually there. But he is more consistent than everyone else. But however, looking into his current season stats, where you see, Aziz Muasif's stats say, he does win at Atlanta to essentially bring the Ayun Risu number 62 back into winning form. But he has only had 2 finishes inside the top 10. Because in the other 3 races that counted towards the championship, he finished outside of it.
Quite a slow start, I noticed, for Muasif until the Atlanta race.
Yeah, in the Yongnam race.
Probably a championship hangover.
Yeah, it's a championship hangover. Championship hangovers really do exist. We have yet to see a driver actually defending his or her or their title. Especially after they've won a title in aero competitions. Of course, when you look back in Formula Hololive Japan, Shazan Reza wasn't able to defend his title after 2023. Of course, Danilo Goyena won it in 2024. And right now, we are seeing a similar case where Aziz Muasif is actually having a pretty decent lap, though. A 104.318. He has a history of actually performing well in Sepang. Of course, as I mentioned, he actually has 1 podium to his name before racing in this track.
Certainly knows the twists and turns of Sepang very well.
And of course, looking into the driver lineup, I just wanted to highlight everyone. There are actually, at the very least, 7 Malaysians who are racing at home. Of course, the drivers in question will be Haziq Yazid, Muhammad Shazan Reza, Ryan Kagawa, Nichi Michan in the EN class. Aziz Muasif, as I mentioned, as he currently sets the provisional pole position. Don Elise, who didn't qualify for this race, and Hanari Miyuki, who has won a race for Kobo Kanairu earlier this season, and she won at Yongnam.
Crowd hoping to see one of their own get the win here, especially Ryan Kagawa, who's leading the championship. Get to see his first completed timed lap.
And
as of yet.
Yeah. We have yet to see Kagawa actually complete his lap. But also a good fun fact, Shinoshi Taiyo has put her car on provisional pole position, where actually the Hoshimono Vamuna number 69 has absolutely struggled in essentially the previous season's the standings, where of course I believe she finished below the top 20 last time out. Pyyer now currently on the precipice to bring something amazing for the Hoshinaba Omuna team, as the team is currently set in 12th right now. Of course, getting that second place finish at Singapore. When getting to the podium in Singapore, Hinochi actually said to everyone that the chains have finally been unleashed and she's ready to continue bringing in the good times. And currently, there's a bit of a damper last time out at Sento, where she essentially were one of the few drivers who crashed out. She would end up with a 17th place finish at Sento, but now you see that she's currently on pole position for now. Well, it feels like it's the good times are about to absolutely flow for the ID class cars.
Still waiting to hear from the last 3 drivers with their times, and there's 23rd, 24th, and 25th in as we come down to 4 minutes.
And right now we have the Enzio Ferrari currently sitting in last. And speaking of which, looking at the top 5 drivers from the last time out who actually made the cut, I actually want to point out actually that based on what I am looking at, it looks like Great Power, the driver who was in pre-qualifying, is not currently 19th. And look at Angela Sims though. She's currently 5th place after having to survive pre-qualifying.
Well, very, very nice again. That used to track, getting used to track more with her pre-qualifying experience, and thus her position.
Anyways, there's Evelyn Cromie there. Speaking of which, you want to see some racing action in qualifying? Here it is, Evelyn Cromie and Dan Evans dancing
side by side.
Ooh, and I think there's contact between the two, but fortunately, both of these drivers should be able to get away between each other, as Cromie is going to try to get a good run for herself. She actually finished on the podium last time out in Indonesia at Sentul, as you see Dan Evans try to pounce back against her. You see her actually have the fastest first sector out of anyone so far. She's looking for revenge. She's out for blood in essentially that Elizabeth Rose Blood Flame number 53 car, as of course she did finish 3rd, but due to contact with another driver, she essentially she essentially had a penalty to serve, and she actually only went down in 5th place. She was from 3rd to 5th, but that was only because in Sentul it was basically a crash fest.
Ooh, crash fest.
Yeah, it was a crash fest at the Indonesia Grand Prix, where essentially we got multiple drivers essentially crashing in between each other due to the fact that the drivers just want to go out to their limits and essentially cause a lot of accidents and all that stuff. So on that race, only like the top 6 or top 7 is actually finished the entire full laps, and the rest of the field, like 20 plus, essentially retired.
Yeah, I've seen test races there on Maya, and with that Sentul track. What was it?
Yeah, it was Sentul
track with faster Ferrari F2004 cars. Yeah, cars, especially at the start, just slamming into each other, and at my end, it's almost twice as many cars on that track in my series, and Formula Hollow World Championship is going to be racing there, and I expect a whole lot of action there.
Oh, speaking of which, Ryan Kagawa and Haziyazi. Yeah, Shio Raven racing action, as we saw there, as Kagawa has cleared Haziyazi. Haziyazi doesn't give him a lot of trouble, as Kagawa wants to try to get himself the best time in qualifying. Sheldon Reza, Aziz Muazif, Angela Sims, Thomas Ferreira, and Juan Castanto will call it a day in qualifying. Especially for Castanto on his final qualifying, he will qualify no higher than 7th. And speaking of the drivers who will be retiring their cars, Pyyer recommended, meanwhile, is currently in 4th place. Back to the drivers in question. Bernardo Santiago in his final qualifying session for Watson Emilia. He will qualify in 20th place, and Dak Patterson is sending his final laps to try to bring that Ceres Fauna number 98 to as high as he could into the top 10, trying to carry on the legacy that Zeke Wimberley has had, which actually, in addition to the 3 wins that he's had last season, he also won this season at Montreal. So the Ceres Fauna car is actually one of the winningest cars in Formula Hololive history.
And here he is trying to send off the Ceres Fauna car on a high note.
And coming
into the Fauna car and the Amelia Watson car, both hoping for great results to send off the...
Ooh, this is actually pretty good. Second sector, only 400 of a second behind, as Ryan Kagawa puts himself into second place, 146.084 for the championship leader. Javier Luzmi, on the other hand, is currently down in 19th. Meanwhile, as we're about to take a look into Dak Patterson will also have a car that will challenge, at the very least, the top 5. You saw how close he was by the second sector. Dak Patterson isn't going to give up. Let's see how he does.
Coming around to the final turn.
That's a great exit. 143, 144, 145. Front row.
Seconds. Wow.
Trying to make sure that the Ceres Fauna number 98 will try to essentially make their way into the basically the top step on the podium in Ceres Fauna's final outing in Formula Hololive competitions. What a drive from Dak Patterson in qualifying to essentially bring that number 98 at least into the front row. But no one for sure has been able to beat this driver. Kinochi Tayo scores pole position here in the Malaysia Grand Prix at Sepang. Dak Patterson second for Ceres Fauna, with Ryan Kagawa third for Nerissa Ravencroft. Marcel Reza will have to settle for fourth for Kazeki Bijou, with Rafael de Oliveira continuing the good run for him. He starts fifth. Koi recommended sixth for essentially Takanashi Kiara, making it a Pavanashi third row. And then we have Aziz Muazif, the defending champion. He will start 7th, with Angela Sims, who wasn't pre-qualifying, is now currently in the top 8. Thomas Ferreira, with his debut podium in Formula Hololive International, will start 9th place. And then we have the rest of the field. Juan Casanto in his final ARO race, he will start 10th. And of course, there will be a successor for him coming soon. Joshua Zurich starts 11th for Mori Kalliopi, with Hanari Milky 12th for Kobo Kanehiro. Amela Shore starts 13th for Kyla Kowalska, with Nishimichan 14th for Mokuko Biscar. Also, a car that was in pre-qualifying. Dan Evans as well for Iron Neo 15 starts 15th. Evan Kromi starts 16th for Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. 17th, Ethan Bertelsen for Nanashi Mumi, who also made it by the slimmest of margins. Liam Kai 18th for Hakos Bales. Javier Lushby 19th for Mestre. He will have to do a lot of work to try to displace Ryan Kagawa's third place run currently at the moment. And then we have Bernardo Santiago in this final race for Wasamilia. And Wasamilia is his final race in aero competitions in 20th. And then we have Hyuta Asano, who's currently in the pits. It looks like he has adjusted Park Ferme. That will start 21st. Great Power 22nd as well. Looks like he has problems with his car. Ludwig Boschwald 33rd for essentially Cecilia Immergreen. Haziyazi 24th. And Ezio Ferrari will be the last driver in the grid for Raul Pedera. So, Dak, as we're about to get this race properly underway, we got 2 cars currently in the pits, trying to go for a pit lane start. Let's see if they're able to start the car for the race. Dak, what are your thoughts before the race?
Well, as we have seen in qualifying, basically anything can happen. Yeah, I've seen Dak Patterson was middling at one point, and at the very last moment able to shoot his way up to a P2 front row start. But I got my eyes on Hinochi Tayo. Just no one was able to catch up to him throughout the qualifying session. I say he may have a pretty good shot to go to victory lane here, but we'll also we'll just see what happens in these 56 laps.
So with that being said, we have all of the cars lined up, 25 cars to be exact, although 2 cars will start in the pit lane. Hinoshi Tayo is your pole sitter, and the other driver currently in the equation, Dak Patterson currently in second, Ryan Kagawa, the championship leaders, in third. As the 5 red lights go out, we are racing here in the Malaysia Grand Prix. The 56 laps have already started, and the drivers are already launched very, very well here. And now you see Hinoshi Tayo now going down the inside of Dak Patterson, coming into turn 1. Patterson trying to hang around the outside, but has the ability to cut into the inside. However, Rafael de Oliveira, where did he come from? From 5th on the grid, as Hinoshi Tayo currently lead this race. Patterson now defends second for de Oliveira. Kagawa down to 4. Mendes 5th. Sheldon Reza 6th. Watt is 7th. Azurid and Sims battle it out for 8th place. Costanto's in the top 10.
Oh, very, very quick start by de Oliveira right there to move up to 3rd behind Patterson.
And right now, it's going to be interesting to see as Thomas Ferreira now gets up into 11th place. Bertelsen now battling for 14th place against Hanari Miyuki. Miyuki trying to hang around the inside. Bertelsen going off into the AstroTurf. The AstroTurf being very, very slippery there. But he does have a very good run, though, to actually counterattack against Hanari Miyuki. Miyuki now having to defend. Meanwhile, more fights at the back as Javier Lusby is going to try to carve his way back up into the front.
Already some battling for positions early on. Very close at the start. Expect things to get a bit more spread out as we get through.
Oh, and there's a spin!
Oh no!
That's Ethan Bertelsen. Ethan Bertelsen got tagged by, I believe, Hanari Miyuki. It's not clear on what actually happened there. Aside to Javier Lusby and Hanari Miyuki, we will check this replay after the race due to, if we actually use the replay now, we will actually glitch the timing tower. So we're going to have to check the replay until the end. It will be investigated after the race, but it was a violent spin that sent Ethan Bertelsen into the wall. And there's another one, there's another contact for their back.
Oh no! More than one casualty. That's not what you want to do during the race. Touch grass. Oh, Ray Brower way down there in 23rd.
Yeah, they started the race in the back of the field as they had to adjust the car. There were problems in their car, so they have the brake park firmly and they will have to start in the pit lane. Fortunately, they're able to resume the race as usual, but we have had a confirmed casualty that is Ethan Bertelsen, who will be credited with a 25th place finish right at the end. But what a chaotic first lap that was.
Yeah, lots of scuffling, nice bit of melee there, involving a couple of the drivers. Nice starts by some of the drivers.
Ooh, look at this though.
As we see
Rafael de Oliveira.
Whoa, nice pass over Patterson.
Yeah, around the outside too. It was already crazy though. You saw how Dak Patterson actually was. He was actually very, very conservative on turn 9, but on the outside, Rafael just absolutely went out for blood against Patterson. The Peacock's wings have now opened up for De Oliveira. He has, I believe, yet to win a Formula Hololive race in its entirety based on my records. Just want to check the records for Formula Hololive just to be safe. But anyways, what a charge that has been for Rafael De Oliveira. He started back in, I believe, in 5th place. He's now gained 3 positions from the start, and he's about to challenge the leader.
Fastest lap now, 146.
As you can see here, he's going to go down the inside against Hinoshi Tayo. Oh. He is going to try to go out. He's going to go all out. And by the way, I just want to remind you all that Hinoshi Tayo is on the inside line, so he will not be able to maximize his attacking possibilities against Hinoshi Tayo. But De Oliveira will have to go around again. His best chance should be at the exit of turn 7 and turn 8.
Top 2 separate by a little under half a second. Next driver is almost a full second down. These two pushing hard with each other, two drivers of Hololive member Carz. But here comes Patterson trying to quickly catch up to Tayo and Oliveira.
And it looks to me that Dak Patterson needs to find something else. Speaking of which, as we've now passed lap 3, let's take a look into the race field monitor on who bits earlier and who bits later. And looking into the 25 drivers who are currently running in this race, we got lots of drivers actually pitting early. I'm not sure what the strategists are thinking. As you saw here, the Oliveira and Yoshitayo once again go on the battle on their own for the race lead, and De Oliveira actually has the advantage on turn 14 using the outside line, while Yoshitayo has to be conservative. De Oliveira now pushing Yoshitayo off into the outside, and now we have De Oliveira for Hololive leading here in Sepang.
Improving 4 spots to take over and have himself a lap lead.
Yeah, and you can see here the Yoshitayo isn't going to give it up just yet. Dak Patterson is also not going to give it up just yet. Speaking of which, Mama Reza though tries to go around the outside of Koi Rica Mendes, trying to force him around the outside. Sheldon Reza on his new drive and his new racing for Koseki Bijou, after having spent 3 seasons with him in Luna. He will also try to bring himself his first win at home in Formula Hololive.
Ooh, more side-by-side action before they get back to single file.
As you can see, Santiago tried to attack Nichimicha for 16th place, but it just hasn't been forthcoming for him so far. If you want to know actually one more fun fact about Bernardo Santiago, you should watch the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C race, where Bernardo Santiago essentially had a defensive masterclass against a fast-charging Zeke Wimberly on the final stages of the race to bring him his first, albeit unofficial win in aero competition. And it's going to be unlikely that he will be grabbing his first official win here, so we may have to consider his unofficial win to be his first and last. But anything can still happen, and of course, there's still a long way to go here in Sepang.
Yeah, sun rising in this nice, beautiful Malaysian city.
Ooh, as Joshua Zurich and Juan Costanto go side by side. This is a battle for 9th place. Azur's now up into 9th. Costanto, on the other hand, is going to try to, at the very least, give it a good fight as he prepares to exit from the ARO. Costanto around the outside into turn 1, but it will be the inside line into turn 2. But you can see he's currently probably being blocked by the driver up front. That's Angela Sims. Meanwhile, Sheldon Reza is going to try. He's already made his move against Ryan Kagawa. Here's Sheldon Reza, though, trying to get into the inside of Dak Patterson for 3rd place. Sheldon Reza, watch out, though, De Oliveira. Sheldon Reza is also going to be in town to probably strike against the drivers up front.
Only 5 laps in, and everyone pushing as hard as they could.
And this is what we want to see in racing.
Position.
Yeah, this is what we want to see in racing. Speaking of which, more side-by-side battles between Juan Costanto and Angela Sims. Costanto now up into 8th place, but for how much longer? You see here as Aziz Mwazib actually blocked Costanto just a bit, but he has the better traction into turn 10, into turn 11. Juan Costanto has now moved himself into 8th place.
Good move.
By which... Oh, this is going to get interesting though. Turn 14. And right now nothing comes to it so far, as Javier Lusby is now going to try and make a move against Joshua Zuri. He has a great run.
These straightaways being separated by turn 15, really where true speed can occur. As more positions get shuffled, De Oliveira just starting to go into pit lane. Miyuki as well.
Yeah, as I mentioned here, they were very fast on the initial stages of the race. This is because they are fueled very, very low. So that's mostly because they are pretty much lighter, and as a result, they are going to pit pretty early. Unfortunately, that is of course as a result of essentially the race strategists being not the best that they are right now. But you saw though, actually, on the other hand, Sheldon Rizza actually still going down the inside. Dak Patterson for what is now second place.
Everyone. Going single file here. Oh, careful there.
That is actually Juan Castanto trying to continue his charge up the field. He's now currently up into 6th place. What a great move there by the soon to depart Castanto. Castanto, meanwhile, has to think about defending once again against Mossif on the counterattack. Now it's Castanto back up into 6th place. That's a lot of great drivers who have some serious race pace, though. You also take a look into Thomas Ferreira and Dan Evans battling it out.
Yeah, we've seen the Crony car pushing very hard here, and there's the Kuala car at the moment, and there are a couple cars way down there. There's a Sano.
And great power as well. They are currently down in 23rd and 24th. Of course, they started from the pit lane and took a good amount of time to get themselves back. Meanwhile, more battles afoot. You saw here. Here's Dak Patterson, though, getting closer and closer to the race leader, Hinoshi Tayo. Shadariza, on the other hand, is also going to try to give something to these drivers. And here comes Dak Patterson down the inside of Hinoshi Tayo. And he's going to try to hang around. And he's going to try to hang around the outside for the race lead. But can he hang it around? I think he's able to hang it around. They're still side by side.
Lots of side-by-sides for the lead.
And it's Dak Patterson.
Does overtake, yeah.
He is currently in the lead right now. As you see, more drivers also try to cause trouble to Tayo, the pole sitter. Assetto Corsa is also going to try to bring his A game. He is going to try to bring home this win for the local Malaysian fans watching this race. He does have a good run, but will he be able to go down the inside? He's not close enough. Koirica Mendes, where is he coming from? And they will stay where they are at the moment.
Ah, man. We've seen a whole lot of action on a couple specific turns.
So, just wanted to check on the, essentially, the other drivers in question. So, as you mentioned here, the first 6 to 7 laps, it's been very, very chaotic, but I expect more racing action further back, as possibly Thomas Ferreira were basically weaving just a bit. Meanwhile, that looks like Javier Lusby, though, making his move for 8th place against Ahmed De La Shore.
Yeah, everyone on the move, no matter what position they're in. Fastest lap now, Kuromi.
And right now we are actually taking a look into Jake. I just wanted to point out a few more things for the driver records. So anyways, Evelyn Kuromi and Ichimi-chan now side by side into turns 2, into turn 3. Rafael de Oliveira now has set the fastest lap outright with a 1:45.157. But because he pitted pretty early, he will have to pit again, looking into the fact that he will be pitting the next 4 laps. Meanwhile, great placement by Nichimi-chan on the outside to essentially keep her in 13th place.
Yeah, look at these times.
And you see
really,
how
really interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see how close these drivers are right now. And now we get to see Koirica Mendes now trying to challenge Ryan Kagawa for 4th place. But Ryan Kagawa isn't phased by Koirica Mendes' offensive tactics. And you can see here he has actually went off very, very wide at turn 11 and into turn 12. Aziz Wasif, it's going to go around the outside. Oh, what an amazing move that was!
What a save by Merzif.
Why was it going gung-ho on turn 12? He almost made the overtake work, and what a save that was, as you mentioned. Went into the curb, into the asset. How is he able to get his car remaining on 4 wheels after that? I can't tell.
A fantastic save by Assetto.
And still, there's lots more to come as he's now going to try to defend against Corey Recommendus. He's now going down the inside. Assetto will have to find a way past, but he is not finding any grip into turn 1. Corey Recommendus will have to take 5th place back, but at the same time, he's making an overtake against Ryan Kagawa. He's now up into 4th.
Wow, a jump of 2 positions. Great flying by the Chiara driver.
And speaking of which, more battles up front. Enzo Ferrari, who started at that back, he's now up into 15th place.
Side by side they go, but
It's Lim Kai.
but couldn't get past Kai.
Ooh, yeah, you have. These are one of the replays where you have to take a look at the replays time and time again. What a move that was by Corey Recommendus. Meanwhile, Javier Lusby is going to go around the outside of Angela Sims. Meanwhile, Angela Sims was going to try to make her position work, and she's now up into 7th place. More free racing to come. This time, Assetto is going to try again.
That's part of the track where overtakes are plenty.
Well, actually, in real life, at the exit of turn 12 into turns 12, 13, and 14, that's not usually where overtakes happen due to the short run that it has. But if you can play alternate lines, then an overtake could be done. Speaking of which, more battle side by side. Here comes Thomas Herrera down the inside of Evans.
Herrera again. Side by side.
And it's Evans currently being able to defend.
We've seen Mania side by side as Javier Lusby checks into pit.
And looking into more moves further back. As you see here, Juan Constanto has also made his move into the pits, and he is also going to be set to pit again. So they will be losing a good amount of time, but he will be very quick at the very least at this stage of the race, even though he is going to lose a lot more time. Speaking of which, Corey Recommendus against Hinochi Tayo, currently in the battle for 3rd. On a battle in the current midfield where we got the drivers who are good in quali, but just wasn't able to defend their position in the race, and those who are not good in quali but are able to make up their position in the race. But look at currently Sheldon Reza and Dak Patterson, who are good in both, but they're better in races. And also we get to see Inochi Tayo, who was good on pole position, like very good on pole position, but is like pretty okay in the races. But that is the difference. Speaking of which, let's see if there are more drivers coming into battle. In terms of pit strategies, what are your recommendations?
Pit strategies. Well, I haven't touched upon that.
All right, so
regarding the races in the series Hi stream.
So I will try to essentially report on how the pit stop cycles work. Usually, the pit stops usually happen in the middle of the race. Like for example, Sheldon Reza will be pitting in around lap 24, as some drivers will be pitting very, very early. You saw actually Azim wasn't coming into the pits, as well as a certain Evelyn Kuromi. So there are some cases where the race strategist will essentially underfuel the car to the point where the car has to pit twice. That's not the fault of the drivers, but when the strategy does fall in effectively, essentially, you get to see drivers actually either pitting pretty in the mid stages of the race or very late. If you look at Joshua Azurin and Dan Evans, they will not be pitting until around lap 40 plus.
Yeah, I've seen in the real life IndyCar races, there's a 2-stop, 3-stop strategies. Strategies here, they're all over the place.
Yeah, they're all over the place, but if you can make sure each of your stints are done absolutely superbly and correctly, you should be able to get the advantage out of everyone so far. And speaking of which, looking into the great things done right so far, Dak Patterson currently in a very much dominant lead for Sarasvana, as he now pulls in a 4-second gap against Mohamed Reza in second place. Of course, if you want to talk about deserving race winners, what better winner can you find than this man here? Of course, in his final start for Sarasvana, in Sarasvana's final start in aero competitions, as Hololive is getting ready for her graduation scene, Dak Patterson, on the other hand, is going to go full beans against everyone. Of course, we mentioned that nature has been healing every time this car wins. Dak Patterson is going to try to make sure nature is fully healed in time for when the time is up for nature.
Yeah, plenty of time for others to catch up though, but it would be very, very amazing should Patterson happen to get the win in the Honda Car's final race.
Speaking of which, Ferrara.
We're seeing Shazra and Redza trying to catch up to Patterson. Meanwhile, a bit of a midfield action with Costanzo again.
And speaking of which, right,
Crony car, in which we've seen a lot of action. There's Kagawa there.
Kagawa currently up in 5th place, already making his move against the more Calliope driver, Joshua Azure, Thomas Herrera, and the like. They, I believe, will be pitting until the end of this race, if I am not mistaken. No, they will not be pitting. They will go for a straight 2-stop strategy here. Thomas Herrera will only have 27 laps of fuel on his tank, so this will mean that he will be pitting for a second time. So we are going to be seeing at least a 2-stop strategy for these drivers. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see when is the right time to pit and when is the right time to catch up. So I believe that there will be a lot of essentially going back and forth between these drivers. Meanwhile, as for the rest of the field, Great Power still in 22nd though, trying to defend against Hanari Miyuki, who's down in 23rd.
Seeing the field more spread out.
Speaking of which,
but not that there isn't any close action still at hand. Like for example, Elashore.
oh, trying to go around the outside though of Joshua Zurid, but tries to find a space, but Elashore has to back off. Meanwhile, Costanzo has to pit once again. He will probably go for a slight for a bit of a splash of fuel as he's about to come back into the race pretty much soon. And as for this driver's case, I would expect that he will have another full tank of fuel before he will be pitting once again. So right now, if we're looking into the middle stint, the middle stint is already currently being enforced right now.
Yeah, everyone's got a nice racing time in, getting some good racing experience on the track already before they consider strategies there.
Shazareza will not be pitting until lap 25. He will probably go for an overcut strategy where essentially you'll try to hang on for as long as you can and then pit, due to the fact that overcuts can really only work when track temperatures are very low and tire warmers are actually pretty slow. Meanwhile, Ahmed El-Ashore is going to hang around the outside to now move up into 7th place.
Oh, good move by El-Ashore in the Kaela car.
Speaking of which, Nichimichan is going to try to fight back, but right now the response just isn't there, and it will open the door for Dan Evans.
Evans pushing through.
And he's going to go for a dive bomb down the inside and makes contact.
A touch.
Yeah, they make contact between. Yeah,
very dangerous.
Very dangerous, but they are going to still go ahead. It's racing action at its finest here in the aero competitions, as we are going to see Dan Evans going down the inside after an amazing dive bomb move, albeit pretty dangerous. He is now going to have to try again. Nichimichan again making a better job in defending.
Dan Evans way down there in the point standings. I believe he is bottom of the standings, trying to improve his position. Currently running 9s, hoping to get a good score here to improve his standing.
Speaking of which,
to do a bit of a push there.
Speaking of which, Rafael de Oliveira is going to slice himself into further into the field. He has led a good amount of laps, and given that pit stop cycles are going to be a thing, we're gonna have to see what these drivers have. We're going to have in store for all of us. Speaking of which, if you look at the drivers who are currently up front, we have Dak Patterson, who is currently pitting soon. Malaysia Reza won't be pitting until the next 10 laps. So this will be another interesting sight to see another lead change coming soon. As Reza actually has set about 0.6 of a second faster than Dak Patterson, and he's actually on a higher load of fuel.
Longer time to stay on the track.
And Ricky Martin
Stern as a stone. Stern as a stone.
Yeah.
With the Bijou car.
And speaking of which, look at the helmet though. I would like everyone to take a look into this helmet. It's a pebble.
That is a brilliant design right there for Shazran Redza's helmet.
As he's now going to still make his way up front. You see how the gap's now closed down to 2.9 seconds, as that will have to make a pit stop soon. So Reza, on the other hand, will just go ahead as normal, and he will reassume the lead of the race. Juan Costanto, on the other hand, is going to go out with a bang. He's currently down in 20, but he has set the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.7. Faster than anyone so far. Speaking of which, Rafael de Oliveira has made his move against Enzio Ferrari. There's still a lot of shuffling left in this race, I will tell you this.
Costanto and De Oliveira, two cars pushing especially hard in this race. Don't let their positions fool you. They could probably strike as we get through the later stages of the round.
And as the track is actually cooling over slightly with the clouds now covering the sun, as we're now coming into 10 a.m. local time, we are going to see Dak Patterson finally coming into the pit. Southern Reza will have the lead of this race temporarily. Now this phase of the race is going to be important in deciding on whether or not Southern Reza is able to essentially hang on into this lead to grab his first win in Formula Hololive, his first win for Koseki Bijou, and his first win in Sepang since 2022, where he last won in Hololive, here in Hololive GT3 for Himimori Luna.
Experiencing completely different racing series. GT3 car, and then here racing in open wheel cars.
And
what experience he's had.
Yeah.
And here he is in the lead at the moment.
Yeah, talking about a lot of experience, of course. He was there at the start of the 2022 season. He was there to start well over, I believe it was 60 races in Hololive GT3 throughout his career. And then he also has seen himself win the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan overall title, as well as the 2024 Hololive GT3 Japan Series overall title alongside the CO Series. So right now he's going to try to find his way into a Formula Hololive International win for Koseki Bijou, mind you. And if you look into the context of how he drives his car, actually, he would favor race pace more than qualifying, even though in Hololive GT3 it actually is the opposite, where he actually grabbed 8 pole positions and 6 wins throughout his 3-season stint for Himimori Luna in Hololive GT3. But yeah, no driver other than Shazan Reza has won both Formula Hololive International, Formula Hololive Japan and Hololive GT3 Japan. But right now, if he does win Formula Hololive International this season in one of the unlikeliest of circumstances, then he will be in one serious exclusive group of him being the only driver to have won in 3 separate championships. Speaking of which, Joshua Zurich currently chasing Ryan Kagawa for 4th place. Speaking of which, Evelyn Kuromi, on the other hand, is also checking into Angela Sims, as she's now going to go side by side with Hazik Yazid for 13th place. And Hazik Yazid is going to make a charge. Down the inside he goes. Looks like Dak Patterson has some issues in the booth right now. So I will try to fill in at a lot of the empty spaces as much as I can. So not many changes in the race field monitor so far, but the next pit stops have to come through El Ashore as well as Gray Prower and Bernardo Santiago. So the two Amisami cars alongside the Brony car will actually pit. Going to be interesting to see how these drivers essentially do their stuff. Ichimicha, on the other hand, is currently in 7th. And then we have Amir Ashore coming into the pits, as we mentioned.
He is going in.
So Joshua Zurich, on the other hand, is going to go down the inside. Oh, where did that move come from?
Not dangerous.
Dangerous, but he at least didn't make contact. So it's going to be on, as you see him trying to force Kagawa on the outside line in turn 3, in the turn 4. Azuri might not have the greatest advantage at this section here, and Kagawa should be able to defend.
Great defense by Kagawa there. Doesn't want to lose position.
Speaking of which,
also put in out by El Shore.
And speaking of which, Yazid and Kuromi also going side by side between each other. We got a driver who was supposed to finish 3rd last time out in Sentol. And then we have the up-and-coming Hazik Yazid, who is also trying to make his charge as well. Speaking of which, they are still side by side though. But it's going to be Evelyn Kuromi now back up into 14th place. Speaking of which, Reza having a controllable 10-second lead against Hinoshi Payo, who was the pole sitter in 2nd place. So he's currently having a serious chance to actually get himself into his first ever win in Formula Hall International. As Great Proud finally gets up on the track, he is down in 23rd. Meanwhile, Hiyota Asano is in 24th.
Brower dealing with some tough, stormy conditions, challenging waves to surf.
Yeah, speaking of the Great Power, doing a very good job though in commentary back in Okayama, and also he racing for the Chumbuts. He is trying his best to get himself further up, as Koirika Mendes and Ryan Kagawa now serve time in the pits. Dak Patterson are their immediate challengers, as that will essentially dispatch them no problem. Kagawa is coming out though and coming in, so yeah, that's not going to mean Ryan Kagawa spending a good amount of time in the pit stop cycles. Speaking of which, Amel Ashore and Evelyn Kuromi, they're not done yet.
Yeah, they're definitely on the move, pushing into this turn. 2 red-lined cars at it.
And it's going to be Evelyn Kuromi being able to hang on to that position for now. But you see here, she's actually lining up for a move, possibly against Angela Sims. She's going to go down the inside, I believe, but she's not close enough.
Yeah, being cut off on those turns. Oh, fastest lap for De Oliveira.
Once again, actually, he is currently the fastest driver so far, but he is going to try to see if other drivers are going to be pitting. If you look at the gaps between the leaders and essentially him, he is currently down by a minute and 17 seconds due to the fact that I mentioned that he pitted very the recharges essentially fuel him too low at the start, and this essentially forced him to essentially pit 3 times in this race, and that is actually a possibility that he cannot absolutely ignore. Speaking of which, Nishimi-chan's currently in 4th place, Azuri 3rd, Tayo 2nd, and Sheldon Reza currently controlling this race lead, but however, he is going to deal with the lap car of Ludwig Boschwald.
Traffic in the way.
Ooh, and then Evans though coming down the inside. Or rather, he is coming into the pit lane though. Dak Patterson now back up into 5th place. He is, I believe, only 20 seconds behind Shadin Reza. So Shadin Reza needs to continue pulling up the stop. We will check actually later on what the last lap for Patterson is. Speaking of which, Evans down in 8th place, now overtaken by Evelyn Karomi. And here comes Ahmed El Ashur in essentially 11th place. And now he's going to try to attack Aziz Mwazif with colder tires.
Colder tires, I got to get some time to warm up the rubber before you can consider making a challenging strike.
And that was also based on what we're seeing here. Evans now ahead of El Ashur. Kuromi still ahead of Angela Sims. Looking into potential other battles, Joshua Zurid and Hinochi Tayo are now going to essentially apply their traits themselves. Speaking of which, if you want to talk about the very, very gloomy weather here in Sepang, well, it's rainy season. The monsoon is coming, and of course last night there was a heavy storm that essentially dampened the track, but fortunately the rain has stopped for hours since, and the track is now dry. Speaking of which, Nishimi-chan on that Mokoko number 52 is now in the pits.
And I'm also seeing Shazwan Rezda also taking a breather.
So he will be having a good amount of time spent in the pits as Dak Patterson will reassume the race lead. But given the potential race fuel monitor which we're looking at, Shazwan Reza, it's going to be tricky. But I think he won't be making it until the end. He will have to make yet another pit stop. It will be very late into this race. For Dak Patterson, on the other hand, he will be pitting in the next 11 laps. So, well, at most. So he will hang on this position so far. Shazwan Reza, on the other hand, is staying inside the top 5.
Good stop, keeping him way up high. Helped that he had at one point a 10-second lead over the next driver down.
We're going to see more pit stop activities here. Joshua Zurit, Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, and Hanari Miyuki now also scheduled to also come into the pit stops as we speak. De Oliveira is already in, and unfortunately for Oliveira, this would... Oh, wait. Yeah, he is now coming in. So it looks to me that Oliveira will have to pit once again. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what's happening with his car.
Oh no.
Hanari Miyuki will also be pitting for only 6 laps. There will only be a quick check on the car to see what's going on. And also we are going to be seeing another driver as we've seen also coming in. We'll check on that later. But for now, we have Joshua Zurit now making his move into the pit lane known. Puerto Mendez, on the other hand, I just wanted to check. He will not be pitting until the next 20 laps, so he's going to go long. So he will have the slower car by far, so Reza will need to try to dispatch him soon.
As per Tayo, when is his next scheduled stop?
For Hinoshi Tayo, well, Hinoshi Tayo's next scheduled pit stop will be in the next 6 laps, but this will mean that Hinoshi Tayo will have to make one more pit stop. We're not yet in this stage of the race where you can make one last pit stop. The final pit stop actually will be starting at around maybe lap 27, lap 28. So right now, if you pit now, you'll have to pit again. And right now, it's also dependent on how much fuel that you are carrying right now. And speaking of which, Shadon Reza's gap to Mendez and Patterson, well, gap to Patterson that is only at around 24 seconds. But we are going to take a look back into the last lap pace to see and essentially determine if either Shadon Reza is faster than Patterson or vice versa. Speaking of which, Shadon Reza is catching up to Mendez though. Oh yeah, and also just want to point out though, Patterson actually lost a good amount of time though in that second sector. The gap's now dropped down to 6 seconds actually, now dropping to 5.9, or rather that's Patterson catching up to Hinoshi Tayo.
Tayo losing pace, Patterson trying to up the pace.
And
we've seen Patterson with that amazing push at the end of the qualifying to get him up to the
second
P2 start.
Yeah, front row start for Jack Patterson after that final push in qualifying to essentially guarantee him a front row start in Saraswana's final race in aero competitions. Meanwhile, we have Corey Rico Mendes, though, now coming in to do his own run. Shadareza also trying his best to see if he's able to catch up to Corey Rico Mendes. Looking into Mendes' last lap, 147.764. Shadareza 148.321. Yeesh.
Ooh.
It's not going to look good for Shadareza, though, because he is losing a good amount of time. Looking into Joshua Zurich, who's also trying to find ways to get himself closer and closer to Shadareza. Meanwhile, there's Corey Rico Mendes, on the other hand, trying to do his own charge in the front of the field. But you can see here the gaps between Shadareza and Patterson are actually at around 21 seconds. So right now there's still not much to be worried about, as Sims Ferreira and Ferrari also come into the pit as we speak.
Yeah, this second half of the race, where most everyone should have full tanks, is going to be quite a shootout to the finish.
Oh, it's Ryan Kagawa down the inside of 7 and 8.
Speaking of potential shootouts right there.
Oh, it's going to be a switchback coming into turn 9. Oh, it's going to be a triple overtake. 3 wide.
Pushing. Oh, man.
That was nasty between these two drivers. You saw Elasho trying to make his move against Chitayo, and Ryan Kagawa also at the same time trying to find something against Amit Elasho. 3 cars in one corner usually doesn't go unless you're in Daytona or Talladega, but you saw how tight it was, and there was contact. So you wonder if there is damage currently sustained by these cars.
What a dramatic move approaching midway through this race. Yeah, I think that might have some repercussions as we go along here.
Anyway, Joshua Zurich now still under pressure from Nichimichan. Nichimichan's going to go down the inside into turn 1. That was a very late dive bomb down the inside, but I think Michan should be able to defend. And it looks like Michan is able to defend. She's now up, Nichimichan, he's now up to 4th place.
Good move over Azurid.
Yeah, and it's also from further back. It was very crazy. Meanwhile, Dan Evans, currently languishing in the bottom of Formula Hololive International, is going to try to make a charge for himself. He's going to try to find Joshua Zurd as his experiment.
All these overtakes, we've seen cars way down there in position and then shooting way back up. Really exciting stuff we're seeing here in this FHI race.
Well, it's mostly it's Formula Hololive International. It's just F Holo Int if you want to use a short term, but FHI does count, I guess. But anyways, we are taking a look into Rafael Oliveira pitting once again, as well as Hunter Yuki pitting in the next 3 laps. Jack Patterson will be pitting in the next 7 laps, and Reza will be hanging around with his fuel load for the next 21 laps. So, Reza will have the final 10 laps all for himself, as he will try to make his charge from the back of the field. Meanwhile, Evelyn Kuromi has made her move against Aziz Wazif. Ooh, you see here how much Liam Kai is actually struggling against Evelyn Kuromi, and now Kuromi is going to try to make her move down the inside against Liam Kai, but I think she's just too far back. Well, just wanted to point out that we have Joshua Zurich trying to mention that he is currently in this race. Yes, Joshua Zurich is actually doing very, very well, though he's currently running in 5th place. Now trying to catch up against Nishimi-chan, but in 4th place, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Azimozov currently in 13th place. He is still trying to make a chase against Evelyn Kuromi down the inside, but I think he's just too far back. Still having a pretty good race though. We will take a look back as we will approach lap 27 and 28. We will take a look back into the essentially the points, the positions gained from the start or lost. But we will do it actually right now just to illustrate on which drivers have actually done a lot. And right now we are looking at Nishimi-chan doing his absolute best to now get up into 4th place after starting 10th. As Dark Madison.
Pulse there. Go ahead.
So, looking into the current strategies currently in place, Rafael Oliveira will have to pit once again in the next 2 laps. And for, I believe that the strategy will absolutely come to a head on around the lap 30 to 40 mark. That will be a time when these drivers should be able to have themselves fuel until the end. So right now we are coming into that phase. We're about to come into lap 28 and 29. Dak, which driver has impressed you the most so far?
Well, Patterson for one. Fauna Car's final race. I did say that I was hoping for the Fauna Car and the Amelia Car to have very fine results, hoping to end the 10 years in Apollo Inns on a high note, and we're already seeing a pretty good performance by Patterson there. And Evans also being pretty good in the top 10 from way down there in the current championship points standings.
And there has been a change in positions meanwhile in the top 10. Ella Shore currently up in 8th and Kagawa 9. And yes, you are right actually. We have Southern Reza racing for Kiseki Biju. And then we also have Nichimi-chan from Mokoko Biscar, who's also doing a very good job. So there are 2 advent cars inside the top 10. And then we also have 2 MIP cars in the top 10 as well, with Koi Rika Mendes and Joshua Zurid. And then we also have a decent amount. Advent. Yeah, Advent. 3 cars in the top 10 with Okusha Reza, Nichimi-chan, and Ryan Kagawa. They are doing a very good job so far. Just hope that essentially Thomas Ferreira gets himself back into the top 10 sometime soon.
Advent Car's doing hot here.
Nishimi-chan! That's Nishimi-chan. He was involved. He was involved in a collision, and it looks to me that Joshua Zuri is going to force himself out, and that's going to block 4 cars. And that is going to be
already some chaos being invoked, and
there's damage. There's damage for Nishimi-chan in the Mokoko number 52.
Unfortunate for Me-chan.
Well, one man
just had to get up qualified and just to make it here, and then just couldn't quite make halfway to the race.
Yeah. Well, Michan did get close on at the very least, so Michan will be credited with a 24th place finish. So we will update it as we speak. Oh yeah, I just wanted to update to everyone actually, due to the fact that we are not running this thing in regular championship mode. We cannot show you the immediate championship results as we speak, and we cannot actually show Content Manager also as the result to showcase the championships. And we'll have to use the makeshift spreadsheet. Also, thanks to Dag for providing the template and for teaching us, teaching me the know-how on how to make use of essentially spreadsheets.
Yeah, glad you're making a good use of it. Your design looking pretty much more advanced than what I managed to put out.
Yeah.
Mine has more information, but sort of a simpler design. Yeah, I'm seeing the average positioning and the point stands. Yeah.
That's good to know about that. Speaking of which, we are going to continue the races as we speak. Speaking of which, just looking into Evan Croming, looking at Harvey Lusby now finally making his pit stop move. This is the time I believe you are able to probably get yourself right into the end of this race, and looking at how Lusby does his pit stop, he will not be pitting until the end of this race. He will have a 9-lap middle stint to essentially continue his progression.
Yeah, 28 down, 28 to go. Well, 20, almost at 28, but 28 to go after this. Hoping the fuel will be enough. Hoping the tires won't wear out too much, because it's going to be a challenging push to the finish here.
Yeah, Yuta Sano currently trying to get on his race as usual. Of course, having an emotional Formula Hololive International Zaco Cup win for Minato Aqua, as Minato Aqua was the graduating member at that time. Now we have Yuta Asano racing for the newly formed GG Murin team. Alton Tanner was driving this car for the first 5 races, and he did pretty okay. But Yuta Asano actually showcased to everyone that he could win in this car. It was the first win, I believe, for any Hololive Justice members, and it was back in Sentol like 2 months ago. And now Asano, while he is on the precipice to try to do a good result, bring in a good result in his second start, it's not forthcoming for him so far, as he actually had that pit lane start.
Yeah, just languishing behind much of the field.
And
tough position going on there.
Yeah.
Already,
right.
yeah, we've seen a couple cars start in pit lane. Not just Asano.
Yeah, Great Power was also one of the drivers who started in the pit lane as well. So Advanced Power is currently in 17th, currently still in the hunt in this race, and looking into potential leaders right now. And no one is going to fancy their chances better than Dak Patterson, who is currently building a 28-second gap against Corey Recommenders. Now, I'll tell you what though, in a longer race format, we haven't seen the Sarasvana number 98 be this good. The 4 races that were won by Zeke Wimberly in basically in Formula Hall International from then until now, it was in Super Prix, where the distance was only at 250 kilometers, which for the metric folks out there should be at around 150 plus miles. But coming into, or rather 130, 140 miles, correct me if I'm wrong, but in this longer race distances where the distance is 305 kilometers, and which it will mean that the race distance in miles should be at around 160, or rather 180 miles. You can see there that the Fauna number 98 just wasn't able to capitalize on this car's immense potential. But now, looking into how Dak Patterson is just comfortably leading the field in basically the lead, he's doing a very good job though.
Yeah, just clear as daylight here. Just enjoying the beautiful nature that is what you can find in such a beautiful Asian country like Malaysia. In this Sepang circuit, the trees in the background, the scenery, just a very nice track for the driver's choice at.
A bit of a lore here in Sepang circuit. When Sepang circuit was first built, it was built onto a palm oil plantation. That's why you see a lot of palm oils literally scattered all across the track. And of course, when this circuit was built and it was completed in 1998, it was met with a lot of fanfare. It was scheduled to host the Malaysia Grand Prix in 1999 as Dak Patterson finally makes his move back into the pit lane. Right now, this is where Santa Reza and Corey Recommenders is. Dak Patterson won't be spending a lot of time in that pit stop cycle, as Mendes and Santa Reza will be coming across the start-finish line. Corey Recommenders, on the other hand, will be pitting in the next 10 laps. Santa Reza will be pitting in the next 15 laps. So there is going to be a stark contrast in how the strategies unfold. Dak Patterson, meanwhile, will be okay in hanging on to this race lead, but he is going to be stuck behind a traffic, and that traffic is of course Louis Boschwald, currently the last car on track and the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, Boschwald making an appearance for once since that's a bit of an incident fairly early on in the race.
Speaking of which, we are going to point out as well, Dak Patterson, he is not going to be enough. He doesn't have, the race strategists have not put in enough fuel for him to get through the end of the race. We're not at that phase yet. However, Mendes and Shadid Reza are actually in a decent position to essentially do one more pit stop and around the lap 40s range and be done with it for the rest of the race.
So two more pit stops needed for Patterson, if I get that right.
Yeah,
right?
Only one more pit stop. Right now it is projected that he only needs one more pit stop, and now you see him being blocked by Louis Boschwald. You see how many times though lap cars actually playing an equation against the battle of the leaders, and now we get to see the KFB employee Koirica Mendes trying to make his move against Dak Patterson.
Here comes Mendes on the straight section on the outside.
On the final corner as well. Setting up for the main straight though, Dak Patterson. Oh, and he's went off wide!
Wide!
And
touches sand pit. That's not what you want to do when you're vying for the lead. Just pushed a bit too hard, too much full send.
And Shadid Reza is going to fully capitalize on this. He will make his move into second place as there will be even more traffic. Rafael de Oliveira, who's just gone out once again, is going to cause a lot of trouble to Dak Patterson. Dak Patterson is going to have to be mindful about Rafael de Oliveira's positioning.
You know, cars in the way. I don't see much in the way of blue flags here. As not only he's got to contend to the lap cars, he's also got to watch out for Shadid Reza and Mendes just quickly trying to approach the leader.
Oh yeah, and right now there's another lap car that's actually Hugh Tassano there, down in 18th place. Dak Patterson, on the other hand, is currently trying to find something against Hugh Tassano, De Oliveira, and Koirica Mendes has actually made his move back into second place. Here's Bernardo Santiago.
Oh, dangerous there.
That was very dangerous. It's tight, and you saw how these drivers eventually managed to get themselves into position. Here comes Shadid Reza once again against Koirica Mendes. Oh, there's contact!
Oh, no!
Oh my goodness!
Reza.
That was unfortunate. He tried to make a move around the outside, but he's paid for it. He wasn't able to keep the car.
The pebble makes contact with the pebbles on the ground. Oh.
Yeah, just wanted to answer one of the questions asked in the chat. Yes, the F1 local cars are considered as separate. So yeah, what a loss for Shadid Reza in a race where he should have been able to capitalize on a great performance here in Sepang. He will come out with him licking the wounds of essentially him out of this race. And so he will be credited with a 20, from what we're seeing here, 23rd place finish. Again, well, this middle stage of the season has not been very kind to Shadid Reza at the moment.
Yeah. Repeated instances of dang it.
Yeah.
For Shadid Reza, just got rocked too hard there.
Which is very, very unfortunate.
Rocked too hard.
Yeah, he was rocked to the core. Yeah, the difference between how actually Aziz Muazif and how he did it, the Aziz and Muazif were completely side by side when they came into turn 12. Shadid Reza was still behind by the time they reached turn 12, and when Aziz Muazif did it, he was side by side and had to go into the AstroTurf. Shadid Reza, meanwhile, had made contact with, or rather, We will check the replays again, but it looks to me that Shadureza, just wanted to check on how the situation felt. Shadureza was behind Puerto Mendez when that happened. Actually made contact with Puerto Mendez's right rear. So there are no penalties to essentially give out because Shadureza was the attacking driver, and he paid for it by retiring on his own accord. So we are now down to 22 drivers left in this race, but then again, Shadureza not coming out as a happy man after the last two Sepang races for him had not gone to plan. He finished outside the points around last July in Hololive GT3, the CO series, and in essentially this race he would end up with a DNF at home.
Unlucky homecoming for him.
And speaking of which, more drivers coming to the pits. That's how we lose speed. Rather, that is actually Ferrari and Sims and Ferreira coming into the pits. But now you see here, there's a massive beehive of cars.
Watch out!
And right now, you got to see also the other car making a Takamori, Joshua Azure. He's now also coming into the mix.
A mix of lead cars and lapped cars.
What do you reckon?
Probably, yeah. Worried that there may be a bit of chaos being ensued here.
Yeah. Speaking of which, here comes Joshua Azure now getting closer than ever to come into Joshua Azure, or rather, Puerto Mendez's gap to Filipinos racing for Takamori. Meanwhile, we got another battle between Castanto and Asano, or rather, that is Rafael Oliveira against Juan Castanto. De Oliveira is now up into 19th place. Dak Patterson still maintains the lead, but he's still behind Yuta Asano and Bernardo Santiago.
Yeah, the lapped cars just wouldn't let him pass. You saw there. Tricky there.
You saw Rafael Oliveira. He actually lost himself a bit, trying to go that 3 wide at the exit of turn 2. Now you see Castanto trying to unlap himself against Puerto Rico, but that will only bunch up the Oliveira and Miyuki and cause more troubles for Joshua Azure, who's still trying to find himself into a position where he can get close to Mendes and Patterson.
Oh man, this is heart-throbbing stuff here.
And speaking of which, Corey Mendes still getting closer and closer to Dak Patterson's lead. The EN cars are showing up here in Sepang, but he has lost a good amount of time. Oh, and that's him spinning out!
Oh, going into the fryer. Going into the deep fryer. Another driver.
Oh, it's another one! It's Corey Mendes and Hanari Miyuki. Hanari Miyuki is also spun out.
Oh man, a couple. Yeah, this is why I was trying to point you out. A bit of chaos involving the lead cars and lapped cars, and we lose 2 cars right there. One of them vying for the lead, and just out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Ouch. But anyways, this will mean that Hanari Miyuki will be credited with a 22nd place finish. This is what we mentioned. Anything can happen here in Formula Hololive International. Anything can happen in any of the aero competitions. And just wanted to check once again. Yes, Corey Mendes will finish his race in 21st. Not the way that he wanted to crash out. Not the way he wanted to crash out in this race. Meanwhile, we have that's Dan Evans side by side with Joshua Azure now for the battle for 2nd place. Dak Patterson, despite all of that, has continued to, at the very least, remain in complete control. I actually want to check, though, on the incident between Hanari Miyuki, because we saw what happened with with Corey Mendes. That was a mistake on his own. But I want to see if in the Miyuki incident, if she was involved in any of the incidents so far.
Yeah, that just happened out of the blue while we were worried about Mendez just squandering the chance for a win or a podium away.
And it looks to me that actually Hanari Miyuki actually went off wide at turn 12. Looks like there was no contact from any driver. I think she was overtaken, or she was overtaken already by Patterson. So Patterson should be in the clear from any penalty so far. But it looks to me that it was just a unfortunate mistake from the end, from essentially Hanari Miyuki's end. But now we also get to see Hinochi Tai Ryan Kagawa in a serious position to still be in the very amazing title hunt. Kagawa currently trying to continue to essentially build his lead if he can stay in fourth.
Evans, great racing's happening in the top 5 here. But here comes Kagawa, one of the drivers I'm pointing out to watch out. I was thinking that Kagawa would have a hot race, and here he is, battling it out with Evans for the 3rd spot, side by side there.
Oh, and you see how much he got close there to Joshua Zurich. And they're going to go side by side at turns 5 and 6. This is another great scene here. But it looks to me Ryan Kagawa should be able to hang on to that 3rd place spot. Joshua Zurich will stay in 2nd. Dak Patterson will need to pit one more time, at least, if he wants to be home free for the race. Javier Lusby will be pitting, and it looks to me that he will be good until the end of this race.
If Lusby's ready to go, Patterson doesn't want to let go of sitting pretty. He knows he still has a race to win, and pit stops can certainly decide races. And Patterson certainly needs one more should he have a chance to get that big win or podium here.
Speaking of which, Dan Evans still trying to find a way past Ryan Kagawa. Todd Ferreira also trying to find a way past Angela Sims. Speaking of which, Bernardo Santiago and Ludwig Boschwald are going to be the next drivers who will be coming into the pits. And there is the signal right now. This will mean that Santiago and Boschwald will be further down the grid than they are usually accustomed to. Right now, Sean Reza, he's currently back into the garages, feeling very dejected. Dang, it's currently swirling around his brain like a typhoon. Speaking of which, Kagawa and Evans, though, trading places for position. In 3rd place, it's Ryan Kagawa on the outside, Dan Evans on the inside. Let's see how he goes.
Oh, these two certainly at it again.
Ooh, and it's going to be Ryan Kagawa being able to defend his position so far. Still trying to find a way past Joshua Zurich for 2nd. Now,
yeah, at least there's no having to contend with the lapped cars this time. As far as I'm concerned, except for Asano, yeah, certainly fewer lapped cars to tangle in between the lead cars, but yeah.
Well, we'll have to see here if Asano is going to hold up, actually. If he's going to hold up the likes of Patterson and Azuri and Kagawa for much longer, though. Joshua Azuri, on the other hand, is going to continue to run right in this race. Joshua Azuri now coming into the outside of turn 14 of actually this one. So of basically Asano. And just a bit of a correction, though, Azuri and Kagawa are currently blocked by Asano, but Dak Patterson is currently home free. His next lap car is, I believe, to be Juan Castanto, so he should be in a good position for him to continue hanging on as usual. But looking into Joshua Azuri, he will be pitting in the next 9 laps. Ryan Kagawa, on the other hand, will be pitting in the next 3 laps. And as all of these 3 drivers will be pitting in the next few laps, this will mean that it's going to be either these 3 drivers win this race. But right now, people are fancying Dak Patterson for a reason.
Yeah, everyone Yeah, a lot of people hoping to see a nice way to go out for the Fauna car. Almost a 10-second lead at the point. But there's also the intriguing battle for the provisional other podium spots between 3 drivers at hand, Kagawa, Azura, and Evans, just basically continuing to change positions here.
Yeah,
Castan will get back out onto the track.
So we also have Dak Patterson currently navigating his way in around turns 10 and 11. And right now, where is Kagawa right now? At turn 9 alongside Azure. Evans also catching himself up into the mix. Name Kai, just wanted to check. He will be finishing the next 2 laps. Final pit stop cycles have just begun. This will mean that there will be a lot of drivers coming into pit in these next few laps. And looking into Thomas Ferreira, he will be good until for the rest of the race. Nishimi-chan is good for the rest of the race. Boschwall, Enzio Ferrari as well. Juan Castanto is also good for the end of this race. Yu Rafael as well. But for the other drivers, they will have to pit again.
This is sure to be a dramatic final stint for the remaining 20 drivers still in it.
And looking into Josh Azure, currently still trying to find a way past Kagawa. They have now actually lost a good amount of time against Yuta Asano. And looking into the next driver who is about to go a lap down, Angela Sims, who's currently in 15th place. She's doing pretty okay though on her second race back in aero competitions. As we mentioned in the Indonesia Grand Prix stream, her journey has been absolutely wild though. Having to fake her death due to having to avoid against an oppressor, which is unfortunate. But now that the oppressor is gone, she is back in aero competitions. We thought that she's actually dead for real, but yeah. Anyways, Enzio Ferrari currently in 13th place. Currently they're running his own race. He started at the back though. He's currently up in 13th place, so give him a lot of credit though for how he runs his race.
Yeah, very good improvement in positions for Ferrari.
Anyways, we have the battle for second place still raging on though. Of course, there is the lap car of Yuta Asano causing a bit of trouble. We're now at 10:38 at 10:38 a.m. here in Sepang. We're about to get into noontime. And of course, noontime in Fridays is obviously a time to essentially maybe leave room for other activities coming up. We won't be going into that into too much detail because that's not our topic. As Ryan Kagawa now comes into the pits.
Perhaps one last stop here. By the by, it's almost 10 p.m. Eastern time where I am.
So right now, this should mean that Kagawa will have one more pit stop to serve. And right now we have Joshua Azure and Dan Evans though side by side coming to turn 2. Let's see how it goes.
Again, more side by side action by lead drivers outside of the race leader. Man, certainly pushing and bumping and stuff. The Mori Calliope car and the Irani 015 car.
Yeah.
Addicts with each other. Dan Evans especially having a hot race here up in P2.
Yeah, that's right. Looking into how Dan Evans has been performing, given the season he's had so far, with an average finish before this race of only 21st, this will absolutely give him the boost he needs to get himself further up the standings as Kagawa exits ahead of Ahmed El Ashor, although he is about 35 seconds or at 36 seconds behind the leader Dak Patterson. Remember, Dak Patterson will have to pit once again, and the gas will only close down, but Kagawa should have some advantage at the very least in the championship standings, because remember, Javi Lusby's down in 11th.
Lusby just middling here in a nice shuffle of drivers. Good drivers not doing so hot here. crashing out early in some extreme cases, and already a driver way down there in point standings, way up in seconds.
Yeah, and also here comes Joshua Zurich though, getting closer and closer than ever before against Dan Evans, and right now he is doing pretty okay at the moment with 41 laps complete. Right now the race cannot be considered secure because remember Dak Patterson will have to pit once again, and of course the Evans and Zurich will have to pit once again. Evans will be pitting first, and then Joshua Zurich, and then it's Dak Patterson pitting at the same time as Joshua Zurich. So we'll see if there are going to be some pit stop shuffling right at the end. Oh, and that's Lashore! And makes contact with Juan Castanto! And Castanto is being blocked!
Oh, that is unfortunate for these two.
And fortunately he has been clear, however the car has stalled. That will mean that he is retired from this race. More collisions as well as Juan Castanto. Juan Castanto's out of the race as well.
That's two birds hit with one stone.
That's very unfortunate though. Especially given that this is his final race in the ARO, he will bow out after this race. This is not the ideal way to bow out of your final race in ARO competitions, and also to bow out given that the Crony car is currently running currently 5th in the standings. So yeah.
Yeah, very unfortunate way to go out.
Speaking of which,
Dak Patterson hoping he doesn't get befall with such a fate either. Still with a big lead, even though he still has to pit here, as Dan Evans goes into pit lane. Also, pending Azurid and Tayo, and then Patterson will have to go in.
So we will check on into the rest of the drivers just scooting around as usual. We are taking a look into Joshua Zurich just continuing to race his own race per the usual stuff. And then Evans finally exits just behind Ryan Kagawa in 4th. So Ryan Kagawa has actually beaten Dan Evans, but then Evans should have the fresher tires.
Just needing a bit of a warming up on those tires.
As you can see here,
being hindered by just getting out.
Oh,
it does take some time to get back into full speed ahead.
Yeah, and also we mentioned one guy mentioning Nissan of EN podium potential. Well, we have Mori Calliope currently in 2nd. We have Hinoshi Tayo, who will be pitting later on in this race. By Hinoshi Tayo, I mean she will be pitting in the next 6 laps. So this will mean that, and then we have Narissa in the podium as well. Not sure about Fauna though. They are built, that's what I can say. But Fauna has absolutely said that she doesn't want to be a mommy to everyone. So it just wants to be a regular caretaker of nature, that is. So Dak Patterson, so there's Fauna. Would not want to be called a mommy. That's why she has said multiple times over. But anyways, just wanted to check on Joshua Zurich. He will be pinning in the next 4 laps. Dak Patterson will also be pinning in the next 4 laps.
Patterson seems to be hindered by that car immediately ahead, though. But potentially limiting how far ahead of Zurich he'll be able to go before he has to take a breather.
Oh, but he has to be careful though as well. But if he decides to make a move against Angela Sims, this will mean that he is going to be playing with fire. And we've seen that with Shalin Reza in that battle at turn 12. And now we are going to see, we'll be curious to see how he essentially tackles this situation.
Be very, very careful here. Oh, this is... Yeah, just doesn't want to squander a big lead. Seen many an instance of a big lead being squandered due to a silly move.
And right now, no silly move so far for Patterson. He is currently locked in, though, to bring Sarah Spawner her 5th and final win in aero competitions. And looking at Dan Evans, though, well, in aero competitions, and by that I mean only Formula Hololive International, because I believe the final car, I believe, has also won in on the 22-23 Hololive GT3 Japan International Series season. But I really need to check on the records for this one. But in Formula Hololive, at the very least, Sarah's Fauna car only has 4 wins, but right now Dak Patterson is in a serious position to make it 5th.
Oh man, yes, trying to go ahead of that Sims car, and luckily does. There's a bit more breathing room for him.
And also, looking into Joshua Zurich, 3 laps to go before he will be pitting. Same goes for Dak Patterson, but he will be pitting earlier than that. So Dak Patterson will be pitting first, and then it will be Joshua Azurid.
Wait to see when the final pit stops will come in for Azurid and Tayo.
And right now Patterson is doing a very good job, though, hanging around in the lead. And as for the rest of the field, let's take a look into how the other drivers are doing. Dan Evans doing pretty decently in 5th place, trying to grab his first top 5 finish of the season after languishing in the bottom for so long. Liam Kai doing a very good job to stay in 6th. Kuromi now going down the inside low with Boschwald to clear the lap car. Waza on the other hand 8th. Yazid and Lusby on a potential battle between each other. Here it comes.
Good jump ahead by Lusby.
And almost got switched back though by Hazik Yazid too. And speaking of which, Dak Patterson now comes into the pits. Look at Great Power though. He's up in 11.
Wow, what an improvement by Great Power, starting up in pit lane and just having a slight glimpse of potentially finishing top 10.
And looking into Joshua Azuri, he will be temporarily taking the lead of this race. Yoshitayo currently in 2nd. Dak Patterson should have a lot of clean air, with Azuri and Tayo scheduled to make their pit stops. And look at the top 3 though. The top 3 having a gap of well, initially 40 plus seconds, but now it's going to drop down to possibly 18 seconds. That just shows you the top 3's level, as well as the top 5's level. Look at the gap between the top 5 and Liam Kai.
Oh man, really big. It's the top 5 that are certainly carrying the race there. Those are the 5 to look out for. As we come down to maybe 10 laps after this one. Yeah, 10 laps to go. And anything can still happen.
Yeah,
though.
And the sun is starting to shine here in Sepang once again. The clouds are no longer covering the sunlight, so there's going to be more temperature onto these racetrack. Track temperatures are going to be shooting up. Well, not exactly shooting up the charts though, but it will be up there. And as it stands, there will be potentially more fights coming up. Great Power though is coming close to Hazi Yazid to grab his first top 10 of the season.
Yeah, still too much of a distance behind Yazid, but slowly trying to make a move as Azured goes into pit lane, and Tayo not quite coming in yet.
Yeah. We noticed that actually, because right now we are looking into the fuel loads for Hinoshi Tayo. Hinoshi Tayo should only have 3 laps of fuel to go, so she will be pitting on around lap 50. Dak Patterson, on the other hand, is going to essentially make use of the gaps. So, speaking of which, Dan Evans and Ryan Kagawa will battle for 2nd.
Oh man, at it again.
And right now it's Dan.
A battle for 3rd.
Yeah, but it's
throughout
not.
much of this race.
But this is the battle for second, because remember, the Hinoshi Tayo will be pitting in this race. Will be pitting for one last time.
Currently second effective.
Yeah. And right now, Dan Evans having an amazing run so far, having to get out of pre-qualifying, showcase the skills here in Sepang. The palette of an alien now showing into the essentially Dan Evans' car, as he now finally uses his Australian touring car skills to finally wheel his car to like absolute perfection. It's very nice to see.
But once showing his true colors, like the multitude of colors on Eofi's color palette.
Speaking of which, oh, that's great power though. Trying to showcase what he has as the chum bud of choice. Trying to make his move down the inside of Haji Yazid into turn 4. Haji Yazid has to go around the outside.
Surface wave not quite through Yazid though.
And right now, Great Power is going to try again against Haji Yazid. As you see Ryan Kagawa though trying again against Dan Evans now. You see him already having the personal best lap of the race so far. Hinoshi Tayo is going to be sure to be called into the pit in the next 2 laps at the very least. So we are going to be seeing a very quick pit stop for Hinoshi Tayo. Hinoshi Tayo though, after being written off in 23-24, is now up there in 24-25. What a story this has been for Hinoshi.
I do love a good comeback story.
Speaking of comeback stories, Great Power trying again against Haji Yazid, and also Dan Evans currently up into 3rd place.
Great battles for positions here.
And
exciting stuff here in this race. Go ahead.
Yeah, right now, this is very scintillating stuff here in aero competition, and now you can see here Angela Sims and Thomas Ferreira now trading places between each other. You saw there actually as well, Angela Sims actually messing up on that start, on that exit, so Thomas Ferreira is going to make the switchback move down the inside into turns 1, and he will try to still remain ahead, but watch out for Enzio Ferrari in 12th place. That might be used as a pick for Angela Sims. And now we have confirmation that Hinoshi Tayo comes into the pit. Dak Patterson should have the final 7 laps in the bag.
And what a big buffer he has. Just doesn't want to screw up these last 8 laps here.
Yeah.
Be careful about the traffic though.
Yeah, and right now we are paying attention though. The next lap cars on the field is Hyuta Asano. Well, the closest to Dak Patterson, that is. Dak Patterson needs to, of course, be smart on that positioning on the car. Speaking of which, the last time the Sarasvana car won in Sepang is indeed when Zeke Wimberly won earlier this year when he won the Sepang Super Prix. Now, Dak Patterson is going to try to be a second driver this year to win at Sepang for Sarasvana, and this will be the most important win for all the saplings, as this will be the final race of the Sarasvana team and the final race for Sarasvana before she will graduate earlier next month. So this will be a huge push for Dak Patterson, a huge amount of motivation for Dak Patterson to give it all he can to make sure nature fully heals and the saplings fully motivated for the future.
Well said there. Well said there. Try not to be too risky.
Yeah, I need to head to the washrooms a bit, so maybe you can cover some potential other battles. Watch out though for Evelyn Kuromi and Liam Kai, and Great Power though and Haji Yazid.
Oh man, very dangerous move by Great Power. I hope my connection holds. I've been dealing with connection ups and downs at my end, but I want to try to stay put for these last 6 laps. Dak Patterson trying to get that monumental win in the Fauna Car's final race. This is exciting stuff we're dealing with here at Sepang, ladies and gentlemen. 18 cars still in it.
And
Dag Patterson
as Great Power still hasn't found a way against Hazy Yazid though. What a wall that Hazy Yazid is building at the moment. I mean, using the Archivist's knowledge to great effect. He has essentially learned how to defend like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Great defense by Hazy Yazid.
And speaking of which, one we also do want to pay attention though, coming to the final stages of the race. Well, we are in the final stages of the race already. We are looking at Evelyn Kuromi and Liam Kai, two red EN class cars. Now on a battle on their own, both of these cars colored red and blue, so it's going to be pretty hard to initially distinguish, but one has a lighter blue and the other has the darker blue, so that might be easier.
Dag Patterson trying not to be too hindered too much. Cap slowly dissipating. Hopefully it doesn't end up being too much of a concern. Evans and Kagawa trying to catch up to Patterson as Patterson looking for a nice clean opportunity to get past that Asano car.
Speaking of which,
Maybe.
Speaking of which, Rafael de Oliveira now down the inside of Bernardo Santiago though. Bernardo Santiago just wants to bring this car to the finish line as the car is about to finish its career. Of course, Bernardo Santiago did win in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split Series, which was a very, very sweet moment for all the teammates. Oh, there's contact between Santiago and Rafael de Oliveira. There was contact. It looks to me that both of them are still able to go, but what a last move that was, trying to go with Obama. We weren't expecting that.
Oh, that was a skip of a heartbeat right there.
Speaking of which, Joshua Zurich though, going gung-ho against Ryan Kagawa for that third place spot. Blue Speed now down in 9th place. Kagawa with that third place finish should mean that he will extend his championship lead by a farther amount. So this will be an interesting thing to see if he's able to essentially keep going forward as it is at the moment.
Yeah, just a very, very nice run he's been having here.
And speaking of which, Joshua Zurich just continuing to pile on the pressure against Kagawa, who is also doing very, very decently though, as we mentioned. Dan Evans, on the other hand, is going to go on to finish in the top 10, top 5, and in the podium for the first time this season, as well as Evelyn Kuromi. Kuromi, on the other hand, is trying to, at the very least, run a decent race though in 7th place. Great Pro, on the other hand, is losing touch against Hazy Yazid though. Hazy Yazid causing enough trouble for Great Power to have him stay further back, at the same time use up a lot of his tires.
Yeah, the shark's teeth getting duller and duller, and the fins wearing out just to was a good run, able to get up to where Great Power able to get up to where he was. Great efforts at his part. And then back to Dag Patterson, still cruising behind Asano.
Yeah, Asano.
Laps dwindle away.
Yeah, right now Dag Patterson has no reason to attack Yuta Asano though. No need to take risks because he's already in the lead. But right now, he will be losing a lot more time. And right now we are coming into the final 4 laps. The thing is that the race may come on its head if Patterson loses 4 seconds a lap against Dan Evans. But right now this is not the case though. Dag Patterson is still lapping at a very, very comfortable pace. Usually the fast lap are at 146. You see here, Asano is at a 148. Patterson is also at a 148. If Evans needs to lap at a 144 if he wants to get enough time to essentially close himself back into essentially Patterson's gap and to challenge him for the win. But for now, it's only a 146. This will mean that he doesn't have enough.
Yeah, Evans and Kagawa just basically tried to go full send the rest of the way, but still not much pace to try to catch up to Patterson.
And right now it's all just calm noises from here, the calm sounds of nature. That's what Dan Patterson only needs to hear. He doesn't need to hear any scream. He doesn't need to hear any chants, support, and all that stuff. All he needs.
Never dangerous last turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was Anyways, Dan Patterson just needs to calm himself down. He doesn't need to make this move against Hyuta Asano. Asano, of course, last one at Indonesia, so he should have some decent pace. But at the same time, remember the risk and reward factor. He just needs to calm down.
Yeah, still a race to win, but try not to get too comfy. Just try to keep calm, keep focused. Know what you're in for.
Speaking of which, that's what Zurit, though, on the other hand, is looking to make her move against Ryan Kagawa. Kagawa pitted earlier than Azurit. Azurit should have the fresher tires. He is going to try to get closer and closer. Will he be able to make a move down the inside? I don't think it's going to be the case.
147 for Patterson on the lap, almost 148. Let's say Evans and the others, 147 as well. 146 for Kagawa, but 147 for Azurid.
And tire 146.412 coming into the final 3 laps of the Malaysia Grand Prix at Sepang. It's still a long way. It's still essentially, but there's still not. It's actually not long to go though before the race officially concludes. But right now, as it stands, Dak Patterson will be in for one of the best fairy tale wins we've ever seen. I mean, Hyuta Asano winning his championship in the final race for Hinata Aqua is nice, but to win your final race to win your final race for your Oshi, well, for the VTuber you're representing, that's also going to be very, very sweet.
Yeah, the series I've won.
Evelyn Kuromi. Evelyn Kuromi.
No.
Evelyn Kuromi was behind. Yeah, Evelyn Kuromi was behind Liam Kai, and that will mean that she will retire, and she will be credited with an 18th place finish. So we will essentially record her stats right now. So she will be down in 18th place at the end of this race. Meanwhile, we anyways continue on the fact about Fauna.
Oh yeah, as I was saying, I've seen a couple of races in my own series. Drivers in what would end up being their final races in the series, getting big wins before either graduating or stepping down from the series. Very nice, fine ways to go out here.
And speaking of which,
as Patterson's 2 laps away from achieving the storybook fairy tale ending.
Speaking of which, Dre Power also not shy of getting his top 10 finish after Evelyn Kuromi's misfortunes. Let's take a look back in the progress chart as we're about to start the final lap on the biggest gainers and the biggest losers.
And that is a massive game by Evans and Yazid.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nicely done.
And speaking of which, Dre Power, who started in the pit lane, so he also gets a decent shot. Oh, that's Enzo Ferrari! Looks like there was contact!
Oh, no.
It looks to me that there was contact between another driver or two, and that would suffer more drivers up front. Just wanted to check what has actually happened here. But yeah, there's still lots more action there. We're not even in the final lap just yet.
Late race drama here. Hopefully that doesn't distract the race leader at hand, the contenders here. Oh, Dak Patterson
Oh, it's getting very close there.
Trying to go past
Asano.
Asano, maybe.
Oh, it's gonna be tense though.
Still, it's a 10-second lead though. Just probably would be best to just play it safe, remain behind Asano the rest of the way.
Oh, and speaking of which, Asano.
Oh, never mind.
Asano coming into the base doesn't have enough field to finish this race, so he will concede this position to Dak Patterson. Meanwhile, Great Power is going to go on in the attack against Yazid, but again, Yazid continues to defend very well. Dak Patterson has started the final lap for Sarasvana in the race lead, and this is the best position that he can ever have to bring home.
Clear as daylight!
Yeah, win number 5 for Sarasvana, and this will be the most important win for the Saplings, Sarasvana and Dak Patterson, as this will be, this is set to be the win that will close the chapter for the number 98 Sarasvana car.
Oh man, what a fairy tale ending in the making. Dak Patterson leading the way onto the finish. What a result for him. And coming down to one last turn. Oh man, that is brilliant performance right there.
Yes. And now let's take a look into the wins that were on for the Sarasvana number 98. Won at the Mandalika Super Prix, won the Sepang Super Prix, won the Buriram Super Prix, and then won the Montreal Super Prix earlier this year with Zeke Wimberly behind the wheel in those 4 races. But coming into the penultimate corner, Dak Patterson is going to make it 5, the first of the Grand Prix and the first and only Grand Prix win for Dak Patterson. It will be win number 5 for Sarasvana in Sarasvana's final race in aero competitions before she graduates. Stand up, Saplings, stand up, Sarasvana, and clap for Dak Patterson as he will fake nature finally heal itself with this win here in Sepang. Dak Patterson wins the Malaysia Grand Prix in Sepang.
Fantastic result! What a way to go out for the Sarasvana car. Happy Saplings all throughout. Dak Patterson getting the win here at Sepang.
Oh man.
Oh, that is an absolutely brilliant race right there.
But let's not take away the performances done by Dan Evans, though, finishing in 2nd place after making out of pre-qualifying. Kagawa extends his championship lead. Joshua Zuri in car number 4 doesn't have enough in his tank to overtake Kagawa. He will be happy with the result regardless. And then there's Tayo 5th, Kai 6th, Mwazin 7th, Lusby set to finish 8th, Yazid set to finish 9th, Great Power 10th. For now, Ferreira and Sims 11-12, Asano 13th, De Oliveira 14th, Santiago in his final race for Watson Miller. He will finish 15th, but it's a great race nonetheless because he actually finished. Boschwald will finish 16th, but we'll have to see though about Power and Yazid, and it's not going to be enough.
Goosebumps, man, goosebumps. That is truly sensational, truly remarkable stuff. Just tremendous action. Evans getting a fantastic runner-up finish, but Dak Patterson, oh man, just taking over for the Fauna car, and then on what will end up being Fauna's final race, leading her to victory lane here. That is brilliant, and 5 wins here.
Yeah,
for the
5
Fauna car.
Yeah, 5 wins since the 23-24 season. What a result this has been for the Saplings, for the Sarasvana, for Dak Patterson to win his one and only race for Sarasvana, continuing on the legacy that Zeke Wimberly has had. To close off the Sarasvana races like that, this has got to be a dream come true. Anyways, Dak Patterson wins the Malaysia Grand Prix at Sepang in absolutely fashionable style. The first of the talents, the first team to win more than one race in in Formula Hololive International this season. Then Evan scores an emphatic second place after getting out of pre-qualifying. Ryan Kagawa third for the race of Ravencroft. Joshua Zert fourth for Mori Calliope. Fifth place going to Hinoshi Tayo for Hoshinova Muna. And then we have sixth place for the Hakos Bales number 85, as you can see here. And then coming into number 7, I just wanted to check on this one. Number 7 is Aziz Muazif for Ayunda Risu. And then 8th place, Javier Lusby. Also some very, very great results here and there. I just wanted to double check on where is actually this one. So anyway, Javier Lusby 8th for Vesha Zeta, Hazi Yazid 9th for Sherry Novella, and great progress first top 10 finish for Gaugura. Thomas Ferreira finishes 11th for Bisgard. Angela Sims for Anya Melfissa in 12th. Hyuta Sano finishes 13th for GG Marine, first car lap down. Pavelio Renes as Europa de Oliveira should be happy for 14th place. And Bernardo Santiago, it's not the race to be for him, for Watson Emilia, but it's a great race nonetheless as he finishes regardless. And Watson Emilia is his final race. Louis Boschwald 16th for Cecilia Imagrin, the last car running on track. Evelyn Karomi 17th for essentially Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame, with Enzio Ferrari 18th for Rara Pantera. Emma Ella Short 19th for Kyle Kowalski, Juan Castanto in his final race in ARO for Oroconi 20th. Korika Mendes 21st for Takanashi Kiara. Hanari Miki 22nd for Kobo Kanairu. Mawasha Reza unfortunate to only finish 23rd for Koseki Biju. Nishimi-chan 24th for the Nanashi Mume car. And then we have Ethan Burleson last for Wokoko Biscar for Nishimi-chan. And Ethan Burleson last for Nanashi Mume. As we're about to get into replays, Dag, I want to hear your thoughts, especially on this race.
The race had it all. Big battles, big dramatic moments, and a nice finish there. And just, yeah, if you aren't feeling anything, after flying across the finish line, then you should look into a mirror and rethink yourself. That is truly a heartwarming, just wholesome moment. Nature is indeed healing here. Just the skies are blue in Malaysia, and very well done for Dag Patterson to get his first F Hollow win, and his first and only win in the Fauna car. His last to go in that car before transferring to the I believe the Chihaya car in
future series with Formula Hololive Japan, but this will be pending because we want to see how the new idol uniforms will be shaping up. But for now, we will be checking onto the replays, especially looking into some recent incidents that have happened. First of all, we are going to be taking a look into how essentially the National Mume number 21 essentially got involved in contact. So here is essentially Ethan Broderson's crash for National Mume.
And that was a hard hit into.
Yeah, it was a hard hit though. Both of them actually went off, and that actually caused both of them to crash. But anyways, we are going to be taking a look into more incidents. Just wanted to get into a bit of a double check. So that's Ethan Bertelson. And next up, we will be checking on Nichi Michan. Just to double check. Nichi Michan. Oh, and speaking of which, there was actually another incident happening at the end of lap 1. So here's another incident to look into.
Oh man.
Ooh. Yeah, Haziyazi turning low at bottom, both of them are able to continue, no problem. So no harsh penalties are to be applied for both Haziyazi and low bottom as they were racing, so we can chalk that up as a racing incident. But an incident that I absolutely don't feel like it is warranted would be around right here though. Looking into this one. So here's how this battle with Corey Mendes earlier.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The pebble meeting with the millions of smaller pebbles.
And then that's not the bigger incident to look into, because let's also take a look into Hanari Miyuki. So this is actually her case. So here's what happened to her. Speaking of which, let's also take a look into the development here. That's Corey Mendes. So let's take a look into Corey Mendes first. So here's one thing about Corey Mendes though. This is a self-inflicted mistake from what we're seeing here. Because you see here, he went side by side with Rafael.
Yeah, just touched a bit too much grass there. Just couldn't get out of the pickle that he got himself in. And there's a Miyuki, just spinning too much and just lost it entirely. And unlucky for those.
Yeah, Hanari Miyuki at the time was running at the back, so she will be credited with essentially the lower positions than Corey Mendes. And then we're going to be looking into Wani Castanto, just to double check on what happened to him. Here's what happened to him. But first of all, let's take a look into how Ame Elasho got into contact with Ryan Kagawa.
Just point the car ahead of him a bit too hard and just causing him to just go backward, and also causing Castanto to be equally stuck.
So I'm going to double check once again on who actually goes first. And then we have the last retirement though, Enzio Ferrari and Evelyn Kuromi, it looks like. So for Evelyn Kuromi, her case is actually pretty simple. So here's what happened to her.
This time start finishing into turn one, and just same bit of contact issue as with Elishur and Castanto, I believe.
It was actually, just wanted to check, it was Liam Kai. It was Liam Kai.
Yeah, it's that same incident that caused both Elishur and Castanto to get up, similar, except that only one car, the Kuromi, ended up dropping out.
So we are going to double check on who finishes in 11th, because I am going to first of all record the results as we speak. So you're Rafael 14th, and then we have Enzio Ferrari. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention to you about Enzio Ferrari's incident, but for now I will essentially try to log the results first before we will proceed with the rest of the entire thing, and because we wanted to also show everyone the championship standings. We are going to check Enzio Ferrari finishing in 18th place, and Angela Sims in 12th, Bernardo Santiago in 15th. Let me see, wait. It looks to me that Evelyn Kuromi 17th, Enzio Ferrari 18th. Alright, so with that being said, let's talk about one last incident though between Enzio Ferrari and the rest of the field. Let's see what happened to him. And oh dear, that's actually a race-changing result. Let's take a look.
What-oh.
based on the rules here, this is what happened though. Look at Thomas Ferreira. Yep, that is actually a penalty-inducing. That's actually penalty-inducing because you should not be causing a collision and cause other drivers to retire. And that is a blatant example of causing a collision and causing others to retire. So we will actually
that's a no-no.
Yeah, we will actually have to penalize Thomas Ferreira for this one. So because there are only 2 other cars on the lead lap, so we will move Angela Sims and Hugh Tassano 1 position each, and Thomas Ferreira will be penalized at the very least. No, actually, he will only be trading 1 position with Angela Sims because he finished on the lead lap. So for this case, Thomas Ferreira will be scoring 178 points. He should have been scoring 178 points, but he will be demoted down to 12, so he will be losing only a single position. So with that out of the way, let's see if the results are going to load itself. But it's not going to load anyway, I guess. The results are going to load. So we are going to show you a different way to essentially show you all the standings. So excuse me if I have to do this though, but this is the best way we can essentially share the standings like this so far. So anyways, with the results now currently being finalized, we are able to show with you the current championship standings here. So here is the spreadsheets that we are currently using though. So now we have a confirmation that Ryan Kagawa currently extends the championship lead over Javier Lusby, Dak Patterson 3rd, Hazy Yazid 4th, and Thomas Ferreira now inside the top 5. But with the Ceres Fauna team now essentially retiring, this is where they will be finishing their championship positions as they stand. And then we have Hazy Yazid, Thomas Ferreira, Joshua Zurich 6th, Hino Chitayo 7th, Urafa de Oliveira 8th, Liam Kai 9th, and Aziz Mwazif 10th. Enzo Ferrari 11th with Mona Zetaro 12th. Well, Mona Zetaro will be replacing the Juanica Stanto. This will be the news for everyone. And then 13th, Louis Boschwald, Hugh Tassano 14th, Shazid Reza drops to 15th after the incident. Bernardo Santiago ends his Watson Miller career in 16th place. Evelyn Kuromi 17th, Hanari Miyuki 18th, Corey Mendes 19th, and Ahmed Alashore 20th. Dan Evanson in 21st, Angela Sims 22nd, Ethan Brilson 23rd, Greg Prowler 24th, Takeda Adachi 25th, Sven Jensen 26th, Nichi Mishan 27th, and Dawn Elise in 28th. And out of the way, Dag, well, before we close this stream, I want to hear your thoughts, because the next race, we have your next race, which is essentially the Corporate Car Championship Trail final 3 races of the season, as well as the next rounds of Formula Hololive International in January. Can you share your thoughts?
To wrap up the streams for the 2024 in the Beach Super Racing Project of BHRP, the last stream of the year is on Sunday morning, my time, 10 a.m. Eastern. The last 3 rounds of Corporate Car Season 6 World Series. The last 3 rounds of the 15-round series. Round 13 will be taking place at Donington. And then we'll have round 14, the penultimate round, the last oval round of the season at Michigan International Speedway. And the title decider race taking place at Mid-Ohio, and it's a close championship battle heading into the finale between 2 VNU members, Yurikago Kokone and Maeve Kakakiri, both tied in points, but it's currently Kokone having the tiebreaker to having better higher finishes. I expect the title fight to go all the way, and it's going to be a dramatic. I'm sure it's going to be a dramatic finish up to the very lap at Mid-Ohio, if I do say so myself.
With that being said, please tune in to the VTuber Racing Project's YouTube channel for the final 3 races of the Global Car Championship Trail World Series. The season 6 of the series will come to a conclusion on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, as mentioned by Dag Patterson, or rather just Dag Patterson, doesn't it? But anyways, we hope everyone here has enjoyed their time watching the Malaysia Grand Prix in the Formula Hall International Series. I'm Momo Reza, and of course, alongside me is Dag Patterson. We'll see you again next month for both the Formula Hololive races in Phillip Island and Bororam, as well as I'm also going to be there for the Copa Car Championship Trail Championship World Series final 3 races of the season. So please tune in to the VTRP if you want to hear more from me as well. With that being said, take care everyone, and we'll see you again next time.